is the State of the Union. And a couple of dynamics are going on. Number one, Moscow Mike Johnson yesterday had a meeting with his Republican colleagues and basically begged them not to repeat the embarrassing kind of trailer trash performance. And I say that with respect to people who lived in trailers. Louise and I did for 3 years. But I don't have a better, description that's not, offensive to everybody. But anyhow, Lauren Boebert and Marjorie Taylor Greene shouting, squealing and shouting at Biden during the last State of the Union address. So Johnson is like, please have some respect. He said, this is what he said, according to Don Bacon. He said, we should be professional. We should maintain a high standard of decorum. Right? You're telling that to Marjorie Taylor Greene? Really? Are you kidding? Mark Alford, the Republican from Missouri, said he's reminding us to be respectful of the institution and to the President of the United States in the office, whether we agree or not. Right. McCarthy had the same message. And Lauren Boebert and Marjorie Taylor Greene just completely ignored it anyway. Bernie Sanders had a meeting with President Biden. Now, this was a couple months ago, but, specifically about the State of the Union address. And he had some very specific advice for President Biden. Basically, he said, you need to punch back. You need to be quoting Franklin Roosevelt. And I'm going to play out of the 360 here, Sean. FDR, for example.
Who belong in these,
here we go.
A number of my friends who belong in these very high upper brackets have suggested to me on several occasions of late that if I am re-elected president, they will have to move to some other nation because of high taxes here. Now, I will miss them very much.
Only FDR, right? Well, we'll see. We'll see. Bernie actually recommended that Biden take FDR's speech from his 1936 nominating convention in Philadelphia, where he said, never before in American history in all our history have these forces been so united against one candidate as they stand today. They are unanimous in their hate for me, and I welcome their hatred. So, we'll see. It was an hour-long meeting, and it looks like, Biden is going down this road. Now, in fact, the White House, when they were asked about this week, they said President Biden and Senator Sanders have a strong working partnership that grew out of the 2020 primary. Their alignment on the need to fight for working families and take on Republicans who back big corporations will be apparent in the president's State of the Union address. So what should Biden say? Well, Jeff Tiedrich had some thoughts this morning over at jefftiedrich.com, his Substack newsletter. He said, if I wrote Joe Biden's State of the Union speech, here's what I'd say. And this is pretty much what I'd say, too. So I'm just going to quote from Jeff Tiedrich. He said, this is what Biden should say. 3 years ago, I inherited an utter crap show, the worst pandemic in a century. I'm cleaning up Jeff's language a little bit here. The worst economic crisis since the Great Depression, the worst attack on our democracy since the Civil War. Now, 3 years later, check this out. Over 14.8 million jobs have been created. That's more jobs created in 3 years than any president in history. The unemployment rate is down to 3.7%. Unemployment has been under 4% for over 2 years, the longest stretch in more than 50 years. Inflation is down to 3.1%. Wages are up and outpacing inflation. Our economy has added 800,000 manufacturing jobs since I took office, and private companies have announced more than $300 billion in manufacturing investments right here in the U.S. Thanks to the CHIP Act, we're bringing high-tech jobs back to America and improving our supply chain. We're investing more than $1 trillion in rebuilding our country's aging infrastructure. Remember how the former guy used to announce imaginary infrastructure weeks and then did absolutely nothing? We're actually doing it. American manufacturing is booming. More Americans have health insurance than ever before. A monthly supply of insulin is now capped at $35 for seniors on Medicare. We've canceled about $138 billion in student loan debt. wiping out debts for more than 3.9 million borrowers. Oil production in the U.S. is at an all-time high. Renewable power is the #2 source of electricity in the U.S. and climbing. And just 2 days ago, I capped bank overdraft fees at $8. He said, if the media would do its damn job and report on facts instead of obsessing over my age, you know, to which I say, so what? I get stuff done. Meanwhile, what have Republicans been doing? Punishing pregnant women, getting mad at books, getting mad at drag performers, forcing 10-year-old children to give birth to rape babies, arresting women for miscarrying, drowning migrants in razor wire booby traps. All their culture war BS is designed to distract you from the fact that beyond tax cuts for the obscenely wealthy and financial and farcical revenge investigations, Republicans don't have anything, not one useful policy proposal that would benefit the average American. And he points out yesterday, Elise Stefanik said, are you better off today than you were 4 years ago? And, you know, 4 years ago, we were in the middle of a pandemic. 4 years ago right now. Are you kidding me? Really? You're trying to make this claim? Seriously? Oh, geez, it is absolutely nuts. Up next, the vile and un-American reason Viktor Orban is manipulating U.S. politics. Yep, he's coming to Mar-a-Lago tomorrow, so hang on to your hat. It's going to get fascist.